It is always a joy when we have the opportunity to communicate with you. And with you, we mean those from the fourth world. The ones that have the courage to live in a world that is seen from our perspective very dense. And we are now increasingly aware of the challenges that living in such a world brings with it. And you may wonder who is talking to you. In a sense, you can say it's the collective of the she, not all the she, a certain group that is focused on communication between the she groups and the humans of the fourth world. And I was given the name Shima, which is, of course, not a name as it exists in my language, but you can say, I can graciously accept that name. It is a vibration that supports making contact. The reason that we are so, we can even use the word excited about this increasing contact is because we are grateful for the role that those, or at least some of the fourth world has played in making us aware that isolation is never the solution. Yes, we may have a higher consciousness than you have, but it doesn't mean that we are not caught in certain aspects of this world that we call Earth, or that you call Earth. And that world brings with it certain limitations. And yes, even we have limitations, even though you may see us seen from your perspective as, wow, so far advanced. Interestingly, we have come to the conclusion that you have qualities that we don't have. And that is the step that we have made in the realization there is no other way for the Earth and her evolution than for us humans, independent of the world that we live in, to collaborate. This has been said at different moments in different ways, but it is easier said than done, as the expression goes in your world. And the reason for that is vibrationally, the four worlds are still separated. What is increasingly happening is communication. Even in your world, there are several people that are able to communicate with us. And we give a little warning. There are also some that claim to connect with us, but are actually connecting with other beings. And it's not about right or wrong, but it can give confusion in the different forms of communication. In your world, because you're so searching for expansion, there's also the tendency to quite easily believe certain things. That makes communication for us more complicated. It also makes it more complicated to approach you because we see how easily many of you are, you can say, moving in a certain direction by belief structures, by longings, by wanting actually too badly to do certain things. And it is part of the reasons why we initially didn't want to make contact. And we have now to admit that even though we still have a lot of reservations, at the same time, we now know we cannot do things without you. We need to become, again, one consciousness. Is that a short-term thing? No, we don't think so, but we need to start the process. It's one of the reasons why we do our best to communicate. As you may be aware, that on the channel where this, can say, communication is made available, that on that channel there are several other videos about us. all indicating how much we are searching and willing to collaborate with you. This earth has an unbelievable potential. Even we begin to understand better the expansiveness of its potential, or her potential, as you would say. And that potential requires that we collaborate, requires that we begin already to communicate as a basis for collaboration. And we are not restricting to that. In one of the videos that's available is already mentioning of a training center. We have been working on that training center and searching for ways to create the conditions that will allow all she and humans to collaborate and work together. That is why we need to train to make that possible. And that's why the word training center is really very valid. And we have asked those who are familiar with the training center to create a training, a course that will make it easier for people to work with that. And we have great confidence that once that course is done, prepared, created, it will stimulate this collaboration. And through the collaboration, we hope that more and more people will be able to communicate. We have to be honest. We see a lot of challenges ahead of us. One of the major ones is the worlds that we live in are so different that you can say in your world, you do not have proper references for our world. In our world, we do not have proper reference for your world. It's only through this kind of interactive communication, as is happening now, that at least we can pass on some information because we use the translation system of the person that is given words to our message. But that's still different from being able, from our respective worlds, to understand fully those worlds. And as I hope you understand that now, that is from both sides. We do not understand your world. We get glimpses. You don't understand the three worlds that we live in. You get glimpses. But it is those glimpses that build a reference system that will make communication increasingly possible. And our invitation is to all of you who are listening, and hopefully you can pass it on to others, if you feel from your heart that you would like to expand your communication with other humans, even though they are not from your world, then the most important thing is your willingness to do that, sending that out as an intention so that we can pick that up and do whatever we can to see whether some aspects of communication is possible. Now we know that we have to offer this to you because, and we repeat this, we need you. We need each other. And yes, you cannot collaborate without communication. So there are, as we see it, 3 steps. The first step is getting to know each other in the sense of making a connection with our respective energy fields. In that moment, there may not be clarity, no communication yet, definitely no collaboration yet, other than in your ideas maybe. But that is the start. The start is simply setting an intention. I want to connect with the she. I want to connect with my family in the same way as we clearly have set that intention, or you would not listen to this. The second step, out of that can come forth more communication. And more communication can lead to better collaboration. Now, those steps are not separated. If you connect with us, there is some form of communication, maybe not awareness yet. And there is some form of collaboration, especially when we start working together through the training center. And we hope that that will be possible by the end of this calendar year of yours, or maybe in the beginning of next. But it doesn't mean we should wait till the course is ready. No, let's start with making a connection and be happy with every little step of communication. Never assume, always feel from your heart. Because one thing we have learned, that in all communications that we do with humans, it only works reasonably well when that human is willing to connect as deeply as is possible from their heart. We invite you to start now, but only if it feels from your heart in alignment with your journey. We have seen that there is interest in connecting with us, and we hope that this message will expand the willingness. We are grateful that we are able to share this with you, and we hope that many of you will respond. Thank you for listening to us.